The answer to that one is kind of no, yes, no. For the neurotic individual, the structuring effect of the master signifier on their chain of signification, that is to say, the extent of their language, the way that they get the context for their language, is intense. The way that the neurotic individual maintains this consistency is through fantasy, and fantasy in service of papering over any inconsistencies that exist within the neurotic individual's symbolic existence. A great example of this is oftentimes with, political parties and political affiliations, there are certain notions that just can't be spoken in those contexts. They have no recourse of meaning. As the philosopher Slavoj Žižek says, we are always eating out of the trash can of ideology. And when we think we escape ideology to go into our dreams, then we are even more subject to ideology. Or, in this context, the neurotic is more subject to the structuring force of their language when they try and escape from it into their fantasy. As autistic individuals functioning on the level of the sign, we escape the structuring effect of the master signifier, and in a certain way, our fantasy is radically more free. What that means in a practical sense is what gets referred to socially as lateral thinking is basically just autistic thinking. What do I mean by that? The autistic individual, since they are denied access to the structure of neurotic language, they have their sign map. They collect signs and meanings and continue to do this through their life. Since the autistic's collection of language is not prohibited by their structure, the autistic individual can gain meaning from many different symbolic contexts and notice basically the short circuits that exist between context A and context B. Context A may refer to some activity, some notion in one way, and context B may have that same notion present in their symbolic structure, in the structure of their language, but the two groups are unable to see the homology between the two. Since the autistic individual is not bound by one given master signifier, but is instead bound by the signs that they can collect, the autistic individual has almost a leg up in pointing out the inconsistencies of various symbolic edifices and demonstrating the way that some symbolic edifices are really doing the same thing.